Imagine stepping into a cavernous hall, not in Basel or New York, but in Accra. The air, thick with the Ghanaian feet, thrums with a different kind of energy, a vibrant defiance that seems to emanate from the very walls. It's the sound of 100 conversations in Twi, French, and English, the percussive rhythm of a live band somewhere in the distance, and beneath it all, the low hum of concentrated looking. This is the new center of the art world, and it doesn't ask for permission. Suspended from the industrial ceiling, a colossal installation dominates the space. It's a tapestry, yet it's not. Woven with the brilliant geometric threads of traditional Ghanaian kente cloth are the mangled green and gold arteries of discarded circuit boards, the spectral sheen of defunct smartphone screens, and the tangled copper wiring that once carried data across oceans. This is the work of a new generation, a digital ancestor spirit for the 21st century. It's a bold, uncompromising declaration from a continent too long marginalized, too often spoken for, now seizing the microphone and broadcasting its own complex frequency. This is not merely a shift in geography, it is a profound and seismic recentering of artistic discourse. For centuries, the narrative of African art was written in European capitals. It was framed through the lens of primitivism, a source of raw, authentic inspiration for modernists like Picasso, who saw form but rarely context. The continent's artifacts were, and often still are, held hostage in Western museums, their spiritual and cultural significance stripped away, reduced to ethnographic curiosities behind glass. The story was one of discovery, of a dark continent illuminated by the Western gaze. But the light in this hall in Accra is different. It's generated from within. This textile piece, for example, isn't just an aesthetic object. It's a dense, layered text. The kente patterns, historically reserved for royalty and imbued with specific proverbial meanings, speak of a deep, unbroken lineage of storytelling and sovereign identity. The e-waste, often dumped in West Africa from the global north, is a stark political statement on neo-colonial economic realities and environmental injustice. But here, it's not just refuse. It has been meticulously integrated, its metallic gleam transformed into a new kind of thread, suggesting resilience, adaptation, and a future forged from the scraps of a broken global system. This reclamation is happening on every level. Institutions like the Dakar Biennale in Senegal, the Lagos Photo Festival in Nigeria, and this very art fair are no longer peripheral events. They are agenda-setting platforms where global curators and collectors now flock, not to discover, but to listen and to learn. The power dynamic is shifting. Artist statements from creators featured here don't plead for inclusion in a Western canon. They question the very legitimacy of that canon. They reference local philosophical traditions, pre-colonial political structures, and contemporary urban life with an unapologetic specificity. The rise of African-led galleries, from Addis Fine Art to Gallery 1957, ensures that the financial and critical capital generated by these artists begins to circulate within the continent, building a self-sustaining ecosystem. They are cultivating a new generation of local collectors and critics, ensuring the conversation is not just Africa, but and Africa. This is a structural revolution, not just a stylistic one. The hum in this room is the sound of an empire writing back, not with anger, but with the audacious confidence of a future already in motion. Yet, as the flashes of collectors' cameras bounce off the circuit boards, a critical tension emerges. Is this a truly fundamental and lasting shift in the global art compass? Or is the international art market simply capitalizing on a new, exotic trend? How do these new voices challenge the established Western gaze when that very gaze holds the keys to market validation and global visibility? The rise of African-led galleries, from Addis Fine Art to Gallery 1957, ensures that the financial and critical capital generated by these artists begins to circulate within the continent, building a self-sustaining ecosystem. They are cultivating a new generation of local critics and critics, ensuring the conversation is not just Africa, but and Africa. This is a structural revolution, not just a stylistic one. The hum in this room is the sound of an empire writing back, not with anger, but with the audacious confidence of a future already in motion. Yet, as the flashes of collectors' cameras bounce off the circuit boards, a critical tension emerges. Is this a truly fundamental and lasting shift in the global art compass? Or is the international art market simply capitalizing on a new exotic trend? How do these new voices challenge the established Western gaze when that very gaze holds the keys to market validation? Extending that vibrant defiance from the physical to the digital, we find an answer to how these voices are forging their own systems of validation. We move from the tactile weave of kente and copper to the cool, luminous glow of a screen, where the Renaissance is manifesting as a powerful philosophical and aesthetic movement, Afrofuturism. Consider the work of Ethiopian-born artist Aida Moulinet. Her photographic portraits are staggering in their graphic precision. They are not documents of a present reality, but transmissions from a speculative future, or perhaps a reimagined past. In her series, The World is Nine, a figure's face is painted in stark, primary fields of red, yellow, and blue, their body adorned with symbolic props set against a flat, otherworldly background. The composition is flawless, the colors so saturated they seem to vibrate. This isn't realism, it's mythology. Moulinet draws on traditional body painting from across the continent, but she renders it with a digital crispness that feels entirely new. She uses the camera not to capture, but to construct. Her work is a direct counter-narrative to the ethnographic photography of the colonial era, which aimed to categorize and exoticize the African body. Moulinet's figures are not specimens, they are sovereigns of their own narrative, their gaze often confrontational, challenging the viewer to decipher a new symbolic language of identity, womanhood, and power. This act of world-building is central to Afrofuturism. It is a mode of thought that projects Black and African people into the future, leveraging science fiction and technology to explore themes of alienation, liberation, and belonging. It's a space to imagine futures free from the historical traumas of colonialism and slavery. We see this in the intricate 3D architectural animations of Nigerian artist Olalekan Jeyifos. He doesn't dream up sterile, generic sci-fi cities. Instead, he builds his utopian visions from the blueprints of contemporary Lagos. He takes the sprawling, informal settlement of Makoko and reimagines it as a thriving, sustainable vertical city, with solar-powered water taxis and hydroponic farms integrated into its vibrant, chaotic structure. This isn't an escape from Africa, it's an investment in it. Jeyifos's work, which he terms vernacular futurism, argues that the future is not a monolithic concept dictated by Silicon Valley or Hollywood. It can and must be built from local materials, local traditions, and local ingenuity. It's a powerful assertion that the technological future is not inherently Western. This movement, which has intellectual roots in the music of Sun Ra and the writings of Octavia Butler, has found fertile ground in the digital age. The internet has allowed for an unprecedented connection across the African diaspora, creating a virtual continent of shared ideas and aesthetics. Artists are using tools like CGI, VR, and AI, technologies once seen as the exclusive domain of the global north, to tell distinctly African stories. They are hacking the system, repurposing the master's tools not just to dismantle his house, but to build entirely new, liberated worlds. This is more than just art. It is a profound political and philosophical act. By creating these detailed, vibrant, and optimistic visions of the future, these artists are providing a crucial counterweight to the often dystopian media narratives about the continent. They are offering blueprints for identity, for community, for survival, and for joy in an increasingly interconnected and precarious world. Their work asserts that the future is not something to be passively awaited, but something to be actively designed and coded into existence. But as these stunning visions proliferate online and in galleries, gaining traction with a global audience, how do they navigate the voracious appetite of a commercial market that is always keen to embrace and often flatten the next big thing? From those expansive Afrofuturist visions, we confront the tangible, high-stakes reality of market forces, where the digital dream meets the auction block. The question of navigating commercial expectations is being answered in real time by the resounding crash of the auctioneer's gavel. The recent record-shattering sales at Sotheby's, Christie's, and Art Basel for a new vanguard of African artists demonstrate a seismic re-evaluation of cultural and financial worth. Consider the work of Ghanaian painter Amoko Boafo. His canvases are electric with life. He paints his subjects, often friends or figures from the diaspora, with his bare fingers, creating a swirling, immediate texture that is both raw and incredibly sophisticated. The figures are set against stark, monochromatic backgrounds, their skin rendered in dynamic, expressive strokes, their gaze direct and unflinching. They are not passive subjects. They possess a profound sense of self-possession and grace. Just a few years ago, his work sold for a few $1,000s. Today, they command prices well over $1 million, with collectors and institutions locked in fierce bidding wars. This is not an isolated phenomenon. Nigerian-born artist Njideka Akunyili-Crosby, known for her large-scale, layered works that combine painting, drawing, and photo transfer techniques to explore the complexities of diasporic identity, has seen her pieces soar into the multi-millions. Her art depicts intimate, domestic scenes that are simultaneously personal and deeply political, weaving together Nigerian and American cultural references in a visual language that is entirely her own. This market explosion isn't merely about aesthetics. It's about the art world finally acknowledging the depth, rigor, and relevance of these narratives. It signifies the validation of a cultural economy that has been systemically undervalued for generations. Critical reviews in influential publications like Texa and Now reflect this shift. The language has moved beyond broad, homogenizing labels like African art to engage in nuanced, artist-specific analysis, placing these creators in dialogue with global art history on their own terms. This critical legitimacy is as crucial as the financial success, as it solidifies the artist's place within the art historical canon. The impact of this surge reverberates far beyond the auction house. It is fueling a renaissance of infrastructure across the continent. The success of artists like Boafo and Crosby provides both inspiration and a financial model for emerging artists. It has spurred the growth of world-class museums like the Zeitz Mocha in Cape Town and the Norval Foundation, which provide institutional anchors for contemporary art on the continent. International galleries are opening outposts in cities like Lagos and Accra, and a new generation of African curators are gaining prominence, ensuring that the narratives surrounding the art are shaped by those with a deep, lived understanding of its context. This creates a feedback loop. Market success drives institutional investment, which in turn fosters new talent and deeper critical engagement. Yet, this very success brings with it a complex and perilous negotiation. Does the pressure to produce work for a voracious global market risk diluting the radical, specific essence that made it so powerful in the first place? When a piece born of a specific cultural struggle hangs in a Swiss Freeport or a Manhattan penthouse, does its meaning inevitably shift? The dialogue continues, echoing in the studios, galleries, and auction rooms. As the world finally embraces these voices, how can the integrity of their powerful narratives be preserved amidst the dazzling, deafening clamor of global demand?